Hello. Hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Hi, Nini. Hi, Marty. How's everyone doing today? Oh, I started a few minutes late today because I was having another optic migraine. Fun times. Um, I hope everyone's doing well. Um, so this is. Well, let's switch over here. This is your break from learning, so a bit tired. Oh, yeah. Well, I hope learning hasn't been too exhausting. Um, oh goodness, the last couple days have been interesting. But today we are working on another Pearl one shot, as you can see. Um, if you saw the poll on my Instagram, or last night or this morning, for me anyway, you would have seen that Pearl bloodbending to save Scott in Last Life was the winner. There were 4 votes on that one, so I think that's the most we've had for a single um, option before. We love having people engaging. um, so I've had some thoughts about that. I've thought about it a little bit. Um, I always check. I always check the poll like an hour or two before I go to sleep, so that I have a little bit of time to see. Okay, so this one looks like it's going to win. Maybe this one. So I start thinking of what I could do for both options, or if there's one that's clearly higher than the others, I mostly think about that one. My thought for this is that obviously we have to get Scott in a situation where he can't defend himself, because our man is a master waterbender, and because, as we can see up here, he can already ice bend. And we've had, yes, they don't have their memories, but we've had like, a break in between the two tests where we can assume that the Watchers have been oh, Nightbot, that is incorrect. I updated you, Nightbot. Why do you do this to me? I changed it from being is being updated every Saturday to is completed, so I don't know what that's about. Um, anyway, we can assume that the Watchers have spent time, like, quote unquote training Scott in ice bending, and by that I mean like forcing him to figure it out. So he probably knows how to ice bend, a good bit at this point, and we see what he's able to do in limited life as well. So our man could defend himself in most situations. So we have to get him in a situation where he can't defend himself, right? And where Pearl has to save him. My thought is we could have it pretty far into Last Life and have, I can't exactly remember who Joel's like it was the reds versus the greens and yellows, right? So my thought is it's pretty late into the season, but not to the point where we have like the all-out war situation, because then we would also have Cleo in that mix, and I don't want Cleo in this mix. So my thought is Joel ambushes them and like grabs Scott and holds like a flame dagger to his throat, and we have like a little bit of a conversation where Pearl has her hands up and her water skin open at her hip or something, something along those lines. And Joel's like, oh, the second that water comes out of that water skin, I'm gonna burn his throat, like that kind of vibe. Which would lead into Pearl deciding to bloodbend to save Scott. I feel like that makes sense, and that gives us a reason why Scott can't defend himself. So it's kind of my thought for this. Yeah, I spent on a different note, because I'm thinking about the ending of Your Embers at My Fingertips again. I was answering comments on AO3 this morning, because I was like, I have 12 comments that I haven't responded to in the last couple of days. So I answered those this morning, and like half of them were from the final chapter of Your Embers at My Fingertips, and so it was like I went back down into the feeling of, oh my gosh, the story's over. Yeah, it was a whole thing. But guys, let me do this really quick, because I have a new thing that you may not have seen. I have a Patreon now. I set up a Patreon. I don't really like expect anybody to jump over there right now. Like, if you want to, that would be great, because let me tell you what you can get. Let's look at the Patreon for a second, because I think that could be a fun thing to do. Let me just, we can pull this up. This shouldn't dox me. This shouldn't dox me. No, this won't dox me. This is fine. This is fine. This is the public version. Okay. So this is my Patreon. This is just, I'm not an artist, so I couldn't draw a banner, but like I built this house in Minecraft and I thought it looked pretty. So I used this, and then I put my name in front of it. But yeah, as you can see, I am creating a novel, and there are 3, like, I didn't want to make it too expensive, because I don't want anybody to, break the bank by wanting to support me if you choose to. So you can actually join for just a single $1 a month. So that's only $12 a year. And I just, if you join at that level, I'm going to do live streams that I'm not going to do on Twitch, which would include like writing one-shots about my book, like for characters in the world of my novel that isn't out yet. I would also be doing a writing advice blog, which would kind of be what I talk about on stream, but going more in detail than I can with just my words, like, and it would be more concise and written out. And so, as anybody who's an aspiring writer, maybe it would help you. But it's like I talk about like how I manage my disability with my writing, and offer advice, and if anybody wanted specific advice on something that I do to help with my writing, then you could leave a comment on it or message me, and I could do a post on it. And that's for only $1. If you do the $3 a month, you get both of those, and you get access to one-shots for my books. So at this point, you could ask for ones from Connected, because that's out. You could also ask for ones from my book that is not out. I mean, that's not request, but that's like what you would see. That's what you'd see. The requests are on the VIP patron one, the $5 a month. So that one, the live streams, the writing advice blog, and the book one shots are only $3 a month. And then the highest tier is $5 a month, where you get all three of those, but you also get a personalized message within like 48 hours of joining, of subscribing. So you get a personalized message from me. It wouldn't be like a video or anything. It would be a message that I send you because I'm a writer, and so I think that would be a good way to set it up. You would also get sneak peeks from the books that I'm working on. And you would be able to request one-shots. And I'll open that up to fan fiction. So if you wanted like specific one-shots for the fan fiction, or if you wanted specific one-shots from Connected or from my book that I'm writing, then you'd be able to do that. It would be a small extra fee, but it wouldn't be too expensive. And you'd be able, like, I would have like a Google Forms that you would fill out for like the character, the world, the situation, you know, like all of that. You'd be able to tell me kind of basically what you want, and then I would write it and give it to you. And so it would just be a little extra fee. But so that's like the membership stuff that I have set up at this point. And the about is a section from the book that I'm currently working on. So it's just, I'm not going to tell you where it's from, but I'll read it out really quick just because why not? So you get a little bit of a vibe of what the book's going to be. Begin testing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Leo opens his eyes to the scorching, brilliant, shining light from the sun. He has to hold his hand up, blocking out the glaring rays, just to see anything around him. A forest encloses himself and a group of 13 others, who are familiar and yet certainly strangers. Everyone stumbles and holds their hands up to the sky as they, too, attempt to process their surroundings. Only one of them doesn't appear disorientated. With light brown hair laying around sky blue eyes, he watches the group with sadness etched into the lines of his face. He's so familiar. Leo is certain he knows the man, but the name is lost to him. You might get a little bit of a vibe from this. I've talked about this before on stream, I think. I really enjoyed Your Embers at My Fingertips. It's one of my favorite things that I've ever written, and I've been writing since I was a child. I love the Your Embers at My Fingertips storyline so much. So, it's a book. It's different. It's a different storyline. It's different characters. It's a different situation. But it's kind of the same thing. Oh, I have a notification. What is this? Oh, thank you, Nini. Thank you. Sounds amazing. Thank you. I'm working on getting that. I'm working on getting an agent for this book, for the book that I'm writing. But I just wanted to talk about my Patreon. So if you have an interest in supporting me in that way, and getting some like extra information about the stuff that I'm working on. Also, live streams that I do on Patreon will include gameplay. I haven't decided if I want to do gameplay on Twitch yet, but I do plan on doing like monthly or bi-weekly streams, just depending on how I'm feeling, because I am doing 2 public streams on Twitch a week. I'm planning on doing at least 1 stream a month where I either write a one-shot for a book, for like one of my books, or I play like Minecraft or Detroit Become Human or a different game, or, you know, something along that line. Just one of the things that I don't know if I want to do on public, like on Twitch yet. So yeah, that's just putting that out there if you're interested. If you need the link, it is in my link tree, which is on I think it's on Twitch. It's also on my Instagram. I don't know if I put it on my link tree yet, actually. I haven't put it on my link tree, but it will be on my link tree after this. But It's the same username as almost everything else. It's the same username. It's Hawkwing03. But no pressure. Absolutely no pressure. But I just wanted to talk about that. Okay. But yeah, definitely keep an eye out for Your Embers. So basically, the name of my book is, I'm just gonna say it because I've said it on stream a couple of times. It's the name of it right now is Your Embers. Can you see the similarity? It's not the same story. I promise you, it is very different. Very different. It's a similar vibe, but it is a very different story, and I think it's better. Can you tell that I'm excited? But yeah, if you subscribe at tier 3, you'll also get like I'll be posting snippets of my book, like mostly non-spoilery snippets of my book before it comes out. Fant Latte, thank you for following. I don't know why it still says welcome to Ixlanda, but here we are. Oh, I know why. It's because of Connected. Thank you for following. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. We got very distracted and it's already 20 minutes in. Welcome to the chaos. But yeah, okay. So we've talked about that. That was one thing I wanted to talk about. Now, shall we move on to the one shot? Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm getting distracted again. So, Your Embers at My Fingertips is done. So there will not be a new chapter of that on Saturday, unfortunately. I remember I did want to talk about this. But there will be a one-shot posted on Saturday at the same time. It's gonna be a during the after. I'm calling every the one-shots that come after the final chapter. I'm deeming them the after. So there will be a one-shot from the after posted on Saturday. It's gonna be the first one from the after that's posted. So you'll still want to check my profile at around the same time so that you can read that. And then the Saturday after that, there will be no one-shot posted on Saturday, but that's because Katie and I are doing the wrap-up stream. And I'll be streaming and Katie will be streaming, so you can watch either one of us. But obviously I won't have her chat up and she won't have my chat up. But it'll be fun. I still need to finish planning it out. We still need to finish planning it out. We haven't had the time. Oh, goodness. Okay. Now we get into writing, guys. Now we get into writing. So how do we want to start it? Let's start it... Do we want to start it with the ambush being the immediate thing that happens? Or should we have a little bit of a slower moment to start? That is the question. That's always the question, is do we want to start with the intense moment right at the beginning, or do we want because there's advantages and disadvantages to both, right? If you start with the intensity at the beginning, then you immediately draw your reader in. But that means there's not as many places to go once you've started. And it ends up being a lot shorter. At least in this situation. But if you start with a slower moment, you may not draw your reader in as immediately, but it means you have places to go. It is the question. Okay, I think we start with them walking through the forest, and then maybe they exchange a little bit of a little conversation. And then we lead into Joel ambushing them. Also, I know that Joel is really bad. Like, he's gotten a lot better at PvP, but in Last Life, he was just kind of insane. And that's kind of how I enjoy writing him. I like writing him as like a really bloodthirsty killer. But that also might be because of a certain character that you haven't been introduced to yet. Oh, goodness. I can't wait for Patreon streams. That's going to be a lot of fun. Patreon streams are going to be great because I get to talk about it there. Okay, anyway, so we're going to have... Right, air is cool. And the green grass. Collapses in feet. Okay, the night air is cool and the green grass collapses damp under their feet. Ah, that's not how you spell that word. Hi, Shadow. She's staring at me. She's like, get off the computer and go lay down. She and I have this conversation every time I come to the computer. She's like, Hawk, go sit down. You're at the computer too much. As always, yeah. If you've been to my streams before, you know that Shadow and I have this conversation every stream. It is a very important part of my streams. Exactly, Nini, exactly. We can't have a Hawk stream without Shadow asking me to go sit down. It's very important. It's a crucial aspect. I wish I could have, like, I wish I could set up a like a camera that just, like a shadow camera. You know how some people have like cat or dog cams? I wish I could do that. No, that's a cute emote. Okay, what are we doing? Focus. You know how Katie has that, like, Earth to Katie, like, point redeem thing? I need that. I need that channel point redemption to make me focus. Because it doesn't ever happen. I get distracted so easily. Katie and I have very different streaming styles. Okay, the night air is cool, and the green grass collapses damp under their feet. Pearl can sense the droplets sliding down the stems into the dark dirt beneath. Okay, I like that. That's a good visual. At least in my head it is. Ah. And there she goes. She has left me. She has decided it is enough. Together she and Scott walk under the thick canopy. Hold on. What do actual oak tree canopies look like? They have pretty thick branches, don't they? Yeah, they do. Hold on. Yeah, like, look at this. That's pretty thick. So like obviously sun is coming through, but oh, and the leaves come down not too well. In some places they come down pretty far. Yeah. But that's only some of the trees. When it's like, I think this is different kinds of oak trees. Because you've got like the thinner trunks, but you've also got the big, thick trunks. But I don't know if that would be exclusive to different... Like these seem... The thicker ones seem to be more isolated. And the thinner ones seem to be the ones that are in a forest. That's what it looks like anyway. Well, no, this one's in a forest and this one... Maybe it's like a variety. I'm guessing it's a variety. That's my guess. Okay. We won't call it a thick canopy because it doesn't look to be like... It's not super thick to the point that not a lot of sunlight is coming through. It's just like it's not thin. there is a good amount of blockage happening there. Wait, okay, in Last Life there was like a spruce biome and an oak biome, right? Well, because we had the area with snow. So I'm guessing spruce was there. But there was also oak. Where were they? Oh, I can't even remember. Does it actually matter? Okay, let's look. We do research on this Twitch channel. Nature Last Life. Okay, there was oak, but there was also spruce. We'll put them in the oak biome. It's fine. It doesn't matter. It's not that important. I don't know why I care so much. Because they could be in the oak biome. Like I'm sure there was an oak biome somewhere there. We gotta say it was a full moon. It has to be a full moon because bloodbending. But to be fair, I think, in Legend of Korra, there was the bloodbender that could bloodbend even without a full moon. So theoretically, Pearl could be one of those bloodbenders. And I think she was, if I'm remembering my plan for her correctly. Because I meant for her to be, like, extremely powerful, which is why she was like Katara, where she could bloodbend and heal. But even Katara couldn't bloodbend without a full moon. But we'll have it be a full moon for it to make sense. Because I haven't ever said that she was one of those bloodbenders. Home keys. Gotta get your fingers on the home keys to be able to type correctly. Okay, together she and Scott walk under the canopy of oak tree leaves, bathed in the light of the full moon. something. Or, there's probably someone. Scott doesn't appear outwardly concerned with his more relaxed movements. But we'll use Pearl's name because we haven't used Pearl's name since the second sentence. Okay, I think that's a good first paragraph. The night air is cool and the green grass collapses damp under their feet. Pearl can sense the droplets sliding down the stems into the dark dirt beneath. Together, she and Scott walk under the canopy of oak tree leaves bathed in the light of the full moon. It's a peaceful night, and yet something feels off. Like something, or more probably, someone, is watching them. Scott doesn't appear outwardly concerned with his relaxed movements, but Pearl can see his fingers twitch towards his water skin periodically. Oh, it's tricky, because I could have her talk to Scott. Like, that's why you have two characters, is so you can have conversation. But I feel like Pearl would know if she said anything about it. That, whoever was following them would hear. Prepare to draw it. An enemy makes himself known. Okay. Pearl places her hand on the hilt of her sword, prepared to draw at the instant an enemy makes themselves known. So I try to have them use their, like, physical weapons periodically because otherwise, like, the situation of making weapons is useless. You know? Because, yes, they could just use their bending, but at the same time, the Watchers made it, like, at the same time, the non-benders wouldn't stand much of a chance. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's tricky. Because they were trained to use these weapons in the first place. So why wouldn't they? Also, is it just me? I always imagine Etho using an axe. And I don't think he does. I'm pretty sure he's a sword person. But I always imagine him fighting with an axe. I don't know. I'm assuming that's just a me thing. And to be fair, Katie kind of does the same thing with the having them use actual weapons instead of just their bending. She did that in the fights in Limited Life. You don't know that much about Etho. I don't know that much about him either. I've watched his life series stuff. I think I've watched all of his seasons. And I've watched Hermitcraft season 9 and 10. But I only joined the Minecraft fandom a couple years ago. So I only know the people that I've like watched more. I mean, he also doesn't post very often, to be fair. But I think he always fights with a sword, but I always imagine him fighting with an axe. And I'm really not sure why. He kills Skiz with an axe, to be fair. Oh, I had a comment about this sentence here. A fourth test with as many of these players as possible will be conducted to send them to their deaths. I got a comment that was like, oh, well, we know now that they were just going to kill them. And I was like, yeah. Basically. A little secret is the reason Skiz doesn't actually sacrifice himself in Your Light is because I told Katie if he does that, he's going to die, like in real life. The second they run out of time in limited life, they're going to die in real life. Which is why when Tango wakes up, he immediately goes to look for Skiz because he's like, if Skiz ran out of time, he might be dead in the real world too. But that's why Skiz doesn't actually sacrifice himself, because originally Katie was going to have him sacrifice himself to Tango so that Tango had more time. But we talked about it and decided that that wouldn't work. But yeah, I had somebody pointed that out, so I thought I could talk about it. Okay. Where do we go now? Because, like, again, there's not that many places we can go. It's tricky. It's tricky with these kinds of one-shots where there's, like, when it's a chapter, it's a different vibe entirely. But when you're writing a one-shot that's meant to be short, because I like the length of all of these, where most of them are, like, what is this one? They're like 1,200 words or something. I think this one's a little longer. This one's longer. But most of these end up being like 1,200 words. This one's closer to 1,800. Oh, I know. We can have some introspection about how it's the end of the test, because we haven't talked about that. We know that, because I talked about it already, but the reader who isn't at this stream wouldn't know that. What do they call it? They wouldn't be calling it a test because they don't have their memories. So they don't know that it's a test. But I'm guessing they would know it's a game at this point. Hold on. What did they say up here? Okay, welcome everyone to Third Life. You've been given 3 lives. This will go until only one of you remains. Good luck. Okay. What do we think they would be calling it? What did they call... Hold on. What did they call it in... What did they call it in Your Embers? Your Embers at my fingertips. I really don't remember. Does anyone know what the people in Your Embers at my fingertips were calling the world that they were in? Were they calling it the world? Were they calling it the game? Like what? I don't remember. I should remember. It's my story, but I've written a lot in between then and now. Because it wouldn't be what, like, Jimmy, Martin, and Tango were calling it near the end. Because Pearl and Scott wouldn't have that information. This is the problem when you write a book and a half in between finishing a book. You don't remember what the original one was. I just Tango huffs. I don't know. I jumped out of the way. He grabs one of the goat's faces in his hands. Why won't you give me your horn? He whispers. I forgot about that part. I love it so much. Oh, it's so good. Oh, well, it's a problem because obviously Jimmy's going to be calling it like a test or a game or an experiment because that's what the voice is. This is tricky. I'll just call it the game. We'll call it the game. That's fine. The game is fine. We'll go with that. They called it the game. I say moment a lot, I'm realizing. Do you ever, when you're writing, do you ever notice that you use like a certain word a lot and you're like, I need to find a different word? I do that a lot. Apparently, I think I use moment a lot when I'm writing. Not like an excessive amount, but when I'm talking about like a second or like if I'm talking about a short time period, most of the time I say a moment rather than anything else. So I've started trying to throw in a few seconds in there periodically to make to not use moment a million times in my writing. I don't know why I picked that word, but it happens with other stuff. Like there was a time when I was writing Connected, I used however a lot. Like there was a lot of howevers in that book. Okay. Pearl places her hand on the hilt of her sword, prepared to draw it the instant an enemy makes themselves known. With the end of the game nearing and only a handful of greens and yellows left, they can't let their guards down for even a second. We'll set this in like around the time that they were all at the Shadow Fort. We'll go with that. I think that's fair. Which means that perhaps Joel would have backup. Do we think? Or would Joel be doing this by himself? Joel would probably be doing this by himself. He's a madman. Joel, like, low-key lost his mind in Last Life, let's be honest. I love Joel in Last Life. I wish Joel had won Last Life. That would have been so good. Obviously, I'm happy for Scott that he won, and I loved that Scott won. But I think it would have been so funny if Joel, like, was on red almost the entire season and managed to win. That would have been so good. May not have been the smartest of ideas for Pearl and Scott to leave the safety of the Shadow Fort, but Okay, but neither of them enjoy being cooped up for long. I feel like that fits both of them pretty well. Both of them give the vibe of people that don't like to be stuck. They like to explore. They like to go around. I feel like that fits most of these people. Most of these people like end up going around the entire server. They don't stick in one place. But that's kind of the point of the server, is like, it's small, so why wouldn't you go and explore everything? Nope, that's not how you spell that. That's also not how you spell that. That needs a, that needs an H. I know how to spell words. To the side of the path, the soft sound, nearly undetectable, of bushes rustling, breaks through the crickets chirping. Hi, Shadow. She has returned, everyone. She has returned to say hello to the chat. Shadow, do you want to say hello? Come here. Up. Come on, you can do it. I believe. Shadow. That. Come here. Come here. You can do it. There we go. She's in the lap, everyone. One of her jobs is to get her front legs in my lap while I'm sitting in a chair to help calm me down. So it's a little hard for her with the position of my chair and my desk, but so sometimes I have to lift her, but she can do it. So now she's getting pets. She's getting all the pets. If you follow my Instagram, you get periodic posts about her. Sometimes Jasper too. I don't get that many pictures of Jasper though, because he's not with me all the time. He likes to lay. Sometimes he likes to lay in my chair when I'm not at my desk. Sometimes he lays in my bed in my room. Sometimes he lays above me on the couch. He has a lot of places. He also has a cat tree that I got from my friend. But he doesn't really lay with me a lot of the time. So there's not as many pictures of him. But Shadow's with me all the time, so she gets lots of pictures. That's where you can see hers, my Instagram. Okay, to the side of the path. Okay, I already read that. But we'll read it again because I lost my train of thought. To the side of the path, the soft sound, nearly undetectable, of bushes rustling breaks through the crickets chirping. Okay, well, that's not how you spell that. Okay. Both Scott and Pearl freeze, her hand tightening around her sword, and Scott's flipping open the cap of his water skin. we'll do ice blue eyes for him. Because Iceman. Okay, how to do this? How to do things. Maybe we'll do Pearl having noticed instead, because I feel like even knowing that it's probably a red, Scott would try to be friendly so that they wouldn't attack him, which is what's going to get him in the situation where Pearl has to save him. So maybe I feel like Pearl would end up being more cautious than Scott in this situation. Do we notice anything about this word? Do we notice anything about this word, guys? I feel like this word has come up before. maybe in this one. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? What is this? There we go. That's where it is. Again, the river blue eyes. Yeah. I also had a comment about that. That was someone, because like I totally recognize that most people that read my stories aren't able to or don't come to the live streams, so they don't know what we've talked about on stream, which is that so obviously with this one shot I went with an Empire season 1 vibe. Obviously, like, I didn't make the characters correct to like the people, because I don't know anything about Shrub. I don't know anything about Shelby's character from season 1, because the only people I've watched from season 1 of Empires are Scott, Jimmy, and Sausage. But you know, we've got Shelby, and we've got Sausage, and we've got a different version of Pearl, as you can see by the river blue eyes. And then we've got Aor and Zornoth and Cod, which is a play on Codfather. But yeah, essentially, for people that maybe don't know what the deal with like Sunflower having river blue eyes and Pearl having river blue eyes, because we've also mentioned up here that Pearl has river blue eyes. There is multiple reasons for that description, by the way, which you will discover as time goes on. You'll figure it out sooner with my Patreon, but again, not trying to pressure you at all into doing that. But you'll get more information about that on the Patreon than you will on these streams. But there's multiple reasons, but the reason for the fan fiction with having Pearl have river blue eyes and Sunflower having river blue eyes is because Sunflower is one of Pearl's ancestors. And I want to point out that Sunflower, where we left her, is a prisoner. but she is also somebody's ancestor. So think about that for a second. Think about what that means. Low key thinking about coming back to this story. Just a little bit. Just like for like a couple more one shots maybe. Thinking about coming back to this on a stream one day. Because of how it was left. Cause like there's obviously more to this story, right? There's obviously more going on here. And I kind of want to write the potential escape. Cause like think about it, like if Sunflower is an ancestor, what does that mean? What does that mean? What do you think that means? It means things. You thought about that, but you weren't sure if I decided her to be the ancestor. At this point, I'm thinking yes, which means that Sunflower managed to escape and live a life. So it's not like a huge spoiler for like the overall thing, but clearly it means something. And also it's kind of tragic because Sunflower was a prisoner of the Watchers and now Pearl is a prisoner of the Watchers. That kind of sucks. Two women in this family. It also means that at some point, Sunflower's bloodline ended up becoming waterbenders instead of earthbenders. Maybe that's why they picked Pearl. Maybe. Yeah, because she was just like this random witch in the middle of a forest. How did they even know about her? You know? How did they even think to grab her? Maybe they knew that she was Sunflower's ancestor, and you know, especially because Sunflower escaped, and so now they're kind of like, I have to fix my pride, you know? But yeah, it's interesting because that means that Pearl also has like earthbender blood in her. But Sunflower must have like at some point in Sunflower's descendants, they must have married, like one of them must have married a waterbender and had kids with the waterbender. And that's how Pearl ended up becoming a waterbender, is at some point that bloodline shifted. So that's also an interesting thought. I need to write all these notes down. I need to make a notes document for this story because I'm gonna forget stuff. Okay. Did you hear that? Pearl murmurs under her breath. River blue eyes darting to the right side of the path where the noise had come from, and then back at Scott. Okay. Ah. Scott gives a slight nod before fully turning to face the bush the rustling had emanated from. Hey, he greets calmly. You can come out. We heard you. Pearl face palms. This would... I feel like this would actually be Katie and me. I'd be like, hey, you want to be friends, like, before you kill us? And Katie's like, why? Why would you do this? This would be me with any of my friends. Like, one of my best friends, would also be the kind of person that would try to be friends with everybody. And then, like, our other friend would be like, why? Why are you doing this? Why do you think this is a good idea? Someday I want to have a server with all my friends. Oh my god. My friend Alfie and I were talking about, and Alfie's their online name, so I'm not doxing them. My friend Alfie and I were talking about if we were on a Minecraft server together, and they were like, yeah, you would be streaming and I would just start launching you in the air with a fishing rod. I was like, I know you would. You wonder how often Scott said something like that in Last Life, because the whole season everyone took around the Scott in his face. For real though. For real, like especially Impulse. Like Impulse just kept coming back. He wouldn't stop. Oh, I loved it so much. I genuinely, and they were like the only group with an ender chest too, so everybody was like, where are their stuff? It's like, it's in the ender chest. Honestly, I feel like having an ender chest in the live series is actually a good call, because then you can have like your really important stuff in the ender chest and the other people can't get it from you. No, we'll do that in a second. Okay, I want to have something that makes him I mean, I'm sure it's not like perpetually bleeding. Shadow, what are you doing? She's so cute. Maybe I'll do a face cam for a stream at some point. You can see her. Just set up a camera next to her bed, and when she lays down in the bed, you can see her. That'd be fun. And she leaves. She's like, no, actually, we don't do that. We're not going to do that. I disagree with the sentiment. Did he? Okay, he killed a lot of people in Last Life, right? Like, I'm not imagining that he killed like 7 people. He actually did end up killing a lot of people, which we love for him. In the lives he has yet to. The dried blood sticks to his red crown with the reminder of the lives he's taken and the lives he has yet to destroy. Okay, I like that. That's menacing. I feel like that gets my point across. Yeah. Okay. If I could, yeah, if I could backspace correctly, that would be nice. Okay, his black robes blend into the shadows perfectly with only the red accents. His black robes blend into the shadows perfectly with only the red accents calling out in violence. I kind of like that. I kind of vibe with that. I really am desperately trying to make him sound incredibly menacing. You know, like, that's my goal with this paragraph, is making him sound menacing. I'm just getting a lot of notifications right now. What is with all these notifications? Leave me alone. My phone just keeps lighting up. I know you're not supposed to look at your phone while you're streaming, but it happens. I have my reasons. Okay. Slowly, Joel rises from the bush, dark eyes glinting in the darkness. Oh, that doesn't work. Oh, how do we describe that? Because I know it's blood red. Like, his eyes are blood red, clearly. Let me... Smallish beams, skin, last life. Yeah, that's like blood red. No, it's not. It's lighter than blood red, because this is blood red. How would you describe that red? Oh, poor Jimmy. Poor sick Jimmy. Oh, I love the long hair. I forgot that he had long hair, too. You don't really see him from behind very much. Well, at least not in his video. I don't know how I would describe this red, because it's not blood red. Maybe we just do light red. Okay, the dried blood sticks to his red... Ah! Well, nothing I can do about that. There's a lot of red. That's the problem. Is it's red and black. Like, that's his vibe. And his red life skin is red and black. So it's like, I can't do much. Especially because I imagine that his crown is stained in the blood of his victims, which is what makes it... Well, so we'll just leave it red. Okay. The dried blood sticks to his red crown with the reminder of the lives he's taken and the lives he has yet to destroy. His black robes blend into the shadows perfectly, with only the red accents calling out in violence. Okay, how do we describe? Actually, okay. I imagine it different than how it actually is. I realized that my mic was muted. I was talking. and it was muted, so I apologize. I pressed the button to unmute it, so sorry. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's read this paragraph. You were wondering where the typing sound was? Yeah. I just looked at it and the button was flashing. I was like, oh no. I hope I wasn't muted for very long. Okay. Slowly, Joel rises from the bush, light red eyes glinting in the darkness. The dried blood sticks to it. I don't know if I need to describe it as a red crown. I might just describe it as a crown. The dried blood sticks to his crown with the reminder of the lives he's taken and the lives he has yet to destroy. His black robes blend into the shadows perfectly, with only the red accents calling out in violence. An iron sword hanging from his hip catches the light of the moon dangerously, a constant reminder of the danger standing before them. Okay, I think that's good. I like that. I do have a question for you guys. Would you be interested in a continuation of this story? Like maybe just one or two more one-shots for this? For like, you know, starting with Shelby's plans to get everybody out. It would honestly probably only be one more one-shot. Yes, you would be? Okay. Let me just add that to my list then. Because I would be interested in writing another one-shot for that. I also got a comment about the early days of testing in the Watcher's notes, so that would be fun. Okay, cool. All right, that'll happen at some point. I do like doing the polls, but at the same time, I'm also at the point of like, there are just some that I really want to write. It's a problem because the ones that like, sometimes the ones that I really want to write are not the ones that are chosen, and that makes me sad sometimes. So we may end up going to like, you guys get to choose one per week and I choose the other one. But at the same time, it's like, if you're not interested in them, I don't know if I should write them. But I feel like you would be interested. For example, one that I really want to write is Impulse and Gem being reunited. The main reason for that is because of something I haven't talked about yet, which is their ages. So, for example, Impulse is like early 20s. In this universe, they're all in their 20s, I'll say. And we know that Gem was like 18 when Impulse was taken. So they've been stuck in the compound for 7 years, which means that you would think their bodies would be older, but they're not. Their bodies haven't aged because of spirit magic. You're interested in all on my list, so no matter which one I write is a win for you. Okay, good to know. So basically, all of the players, their bodies haven't aged this entire time, because of like spirit stuff that the Watchers were doing to keep them young. Just something I am gonna get into with the notes at some point. With some more Watcher's notes stuff. So that means that Gem is older than Impulse. That's why I really want to write their reunion. Is because now Gem is the older sibling. And Katie and I were talking about that, and we think that would end, like, she came up with the idea, and I was like, I think that would be really interesting to write. So that's when it's like I keep putting it I keep putting it on the poll because I really want to write it, and like it only gets one vote. And most of the time that one vote is Katie. So we're just sitting here like we both really want me to write this, and it's never getting voted for. So that might be like maybe on Saturday you guys don't get a poll and I'm just gonna write that one. Maybe I do a poll and it's just all that one. All four options are Impulse and Gem being reunited. That's all the options you get. Also, to be fair, I do want to write creation of the listeners at some point. And some more watchers notes. I want to do more like lore based stuff too. Because I think that would be fun. But maybe we'll look at the one shot list at the end of this, and you guys can help me pick 4 that I really want to write, and we'll just put 4. Do you want Impulse and Gem or Gem and Impulse? Ah, that's the best 2 options. just put it like Impulse and Gem being reunited or Gem and Impulse being reunited. Pick your poison. Which one do you want? Very secrets. Hey guys, Joel says with a sinister smile. Fancy seeing you here. What do you want, Joel? Pearl snarls, gripping her sword fiercely. Okay, so now we've got, we have a little bit of a confrontation happening. Oh, actually, I don't think I show this very much. That's the cover art for Connected, by the way. I don't show it on stream at all, but this is the cover art. Anyway, I just saw that tab and I was like, oh, I haven't shown that to anybody in a while. Okay. Oh, it would have been really funny if Nightbot posted Connected just then. That would have been so funny. You have the cover next to you? Aw, that's so cool. That's so cool. I hope you enjoy it. After I finish the trilogy I'm working on right now, my next project is finishing that trilogy, so that'll be fun. And you'll get to have 2 copies of Connected because the story will be better. It'll be great. Okay. Just a quick hydration break. I am going to grab some water because I just finished my coffee. I am back, and I have water. Did stretching in between help? I think so. Giving my legs a moment to not be sitting. I think it helped a little bit. I need to remember to do that more, actually. That's good. Yeah. Because otherwise I can't stream as long, and that's sad. My thought is at like 5 minutes before 2 hours, we'll read through what we've written, and then we've got like half an hour. We'll read through what we've written, and then pick out some one-shot ideas for the poll that'll go up on Friday. That does mean that next Saturday, not this upcoming Saturday, but this following Saturday, there won't be a one-shot until we write one on Monday, but we also may not be streaming on Monday. That'll be it's not this weekend, next weekend. By the way, clarification. This Saturday and next Monday we'll have a stream. But the following Saturday and Monday, there will be a stream on Saturday. There'll be the wrap-up stream, but there may not be a stream on Monday because I may be completely out of it. We'll just have to see what happens. But I do have a couple one-shots lined up. I have a single one-shot lined up that if I don't stream on Monday will go out. But we're fine for the next week. Okay, where are we at? We have Joel being creepy. I'm trying my best to make him creepy. We gotta make Joel creepy. Okay. Joel steps out of the bush and shrugs, that terrifying grin still plastered across his face. Oh, you know, just catching up with some friends of mine. Is there anything we can help you with? Scott asks, a friendly smile on his face. Though Pearl can see apprehension behind his eyes. Okay. Oh, goodness. The last couple days have not been good for my body. Okay. Well, we've almost gotten a page done. That's pretty good. For an hour and a half on stream. The only time we do more than this is when I'm not distracted. And you guys know. You guys know. I get distracted a lot. I am distracted right now. And it's great. Katie's able to draw and talk at the same time. Not me. I get distracted and I have to look up stuff because I get distracted about the thing I'm looking up. It's great. I know I shouldn't compare myself to how Katie streams. I just think it's really funny how we stream in very different ways. What distraction? No. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, Nini. Why would I be distracted? Yeah, I think the only time I've written an entire one-shot in a single stream is when I wasn't distracted very much. But I've gotten more comfortable with streaming, so I get distracted more easily. Because I like talking to you guys. So I just I just start talking and I get distracted. Okay. It's great. We love it. We love this for us. Joel steps out of the shadows and into a beam of light from the bright moon. I can think of something. Joel, part of my body was trying to type launch, and the other half was trying to type lunge. That was fun. I love when that happens. It's so funny. It's so funny when, like, part of my brain, you know, like, you have two synonyms for the same thing, and you're like, both of these would work here. And so one hand is starting to write launch and the other one is starting to write lunge. That's always fun. Okay, I don't know how well this sentence works, so we'll figure it out. Before Scott has a chance to react, Joel lunges at him, grabs him by the shoulders, pulls him so his back is pressed against Joel's chest, and summons a dagger of flame to press against Scott's pale neck. I think that works. I think that's pretty good. Why is that simple sentence of Joel stepping forward and saying he could think of something so creepy? Well, you know why, but still, yeah. Yeah. It's one of those, like, in my head, I can very clearly imagine what's happening in that situation. I love making characters creepy. It's so much fun. I love ominous moments. I don't think I write enough of them, to be honest. They're fun. They can be tricky, because you have to write the actions and the description and the dialogue in like a certain way to make it work. But if you get it all working, it's a lot of fun. And I hope I'm doing well. I hope I'm doing Creepy Joel justice. Barely? That's how you spell it. I dislike how singing and singeing are spelled the same way. Why? Why would this... Why? Autocorrect. Autocorrect? You are very incorrect. You're very wrong. Because, let me tell you, Pearl Barley has a chance to... No. No. That's not how this works. I don't think you understand what I'm trying to say here. You're supposed to be autocorrect, not auto-incorrect. What even was that? But I dislike how singing and singeing are spelled the same way, because it's spelled the same way, but it's pronounced very differently, and I don't appreciate that. Okay. Pearl barely has a chance to call out to her friend before the fire is slightly singeing Scott's neck. Pearl. We'll do pouch, because we've done water skin twice already. Of the pouch at her hip. Pearl pops open the cap of her pouch of the pouch at her hip. Okay. Pearl pops open the cap of the pouch at her hip and holds her hands out before her. Let him go, she demands in a strong tone. What does singeing mean? So, you know, like fire can burn stuff. It's like when it's not burnt, but it's singed. So it's like barely burnt. It's like, yeah, that's what singe means, and singeing is just, oh, you know what I mean? Okay, cool. Yeah, I just dislike when words are spelled the same way but they're pronounced differently. It's like English, come on now, you're better than this. Google wasn't giving you the correct translation. Oh. Google, please. Well, I'm guessing it was giving you like singing or something. Maybe. I don't know. Google, like, English is just weird. It was, yeah. I figured because it's spelled that way. That's the problem. Full moon is out. Now that you know the German word, Google can translate it to English correctly and confirms it. Okay. Yeah, knowing it in your native language would probably help the situation. Ah. Oh my gosh. Okay. Pearl growls and glances at the open pouch at her hip, fully prepared to pull the water out to attack Joel with no mercy. The full moon will power her enough to win this battle without any problem. Water can put out fire easily. Suddenly, Joel tuts and shakes his head. Water skin. Ah! Water skin. Okay. Suddenly, Joel tuts and shakes his head. If that water comes out of that water skin a single centimeter, Scott here won't have a head anymore. Ah, we love this. Threatening with beheading. Hawk can't have a single fluffy fanfiction. No, no, no. Why would you assume that? I can't remember the last time I wrote fluff, I gotta be honest. Well, I guess technically you could describe the epilogue as fluff, right? That counts. Yeah. Does it? I honestly don't know if it does. Because it's the end of like a really angsty story. I don't know. You guys can decide if that counts as fluff. Pearl freezes, glancing. Oh, I like that. Pearl freezes, glancing at Scott's fearful ice blue eyes. Freezes and ice in the same sentence. That's fun. Love that. To push the cap back on, sealing the liquid inside. Yep. Okay. You got about 10 minutes left. So, if anyone, oh yeah, I'll open this section of the stream to like if you have any questions about the fan fiction, the one shots, what I've been working on, feel free to put it in the chat if you have anything that you'd like to ask. I'll be talking more about my project on Patreon, and Katie and I will be going through a lot of both Your Embers at my fingertips and Your Light at the wrap-up stream. But if you want like answers that I can get into more, you know, in depth with everything, where we're not like, you know, trying to keep it under 4 hours, you're welcome to ask it now. I mean, to be fair, you're welcome to ask any questions that you have anytime, but just a reminder that you can, because we've got 10 minutes left. But I've got 10 minutes to answer any questions. Okay. I always love seeing how this has gotten so long. It makes me happy. I think this one is my favorite one shot that I've written for this so far. I gotta be honest. Mostly because of this section, where it's like everybody is disconnecting now. Like the final people are disconnecting. I love this one so much. I had a lot of fun with it. Oh, also, yeah, this was fun. Yeah, there is something more to this one, but that's something for later. There's a lot of secrets. There's a lot of secrets happening. Okay. Yeah, I really feel like we're not gonna have much of this one shot left when we finish the stream. So I will probably be able to finish it later today and upload it at the same time that the that they usually get uploaded tomorrow. So, you know, keep your eye out for that. That should be up. Also, if you have a title idea, I will also take title suggestions, because you guys come up with some good ideas sometimes. But I also can figure out a title later, so no pressure. Okay, Pearl growls. Okay. Suddenly Joel tuts and shakes his head. If that water comes out of that water skin a single centimeter, Scott here won't have a head anymore. Pearl freezes, glancing at Scott's fearful ice blue eyes. Joel gestures to her pouch with his head. Close it. Pearl growls and reaches down to push the cap back on, sealing the liquid inside. Gave him one of her lives. Okay. She can't let Scott die. He's supposed to be the last one alive. She'd promised to protect him the first day when she gave him one of her lives. Yeah. I kind of like the idea that Pearl was always aiming for Scott to win. Kind of like how part of Grian wanted Scar to win. Oh, that's a whole other thing I could write a one-shot for. Is their final moments that led into, like, you know, Grian almost disobeying the Watcher's orders. I don't know if that was actually, that wasn't one of the one-shots that I put in yeah, that wasn't one of the one-shots. I could write that. Let me just... Don't mind me. Just adding something else to my ever-growing list. Oh, that is so cute. First, Scott protected Pearl day one and earned a heart from Pearl, and then Pearl decided this man will win. He is under my protection. Exactly. Exactly. We love our Scottish besties. I really do love Pearl and Scott's dynamic. I also love Scott and Cleo because they're like I love how there's those duos that like every season they're allies. Like obviously we've got Beat Ups and Etho, but we've also got Pearl and Scott, or not Pearl, Cleo and Scott, and I feel like they're a very underrated duo. Or maybe that I don't see them being talked about a lot, but maybe they are. Okay. The full moon calls to Pearl. She can feel it filling her with power, and she knows what she has to do. Maybe this will ruin everything between them, but if it'll keep him alive. Okay. I think we'll go ahead and stop writing there. You also love how Scott and Cleo ran into each other in Secret Life and were like, nah, we can't team, we're too strong. Yeah, that was great. We can't. I love how Scott ran up to Scar and Jimmy and was like, "We can't. You guys can't be allies. You will be out so fast." And then Scar went on to win. Yes, yeah. That was such a good moment. Okay, so let's go ahead and read what we've written so far today, and then we can choose some one shots to go on the poll on Friday. The night air is cool, and the green grass collapses damp under their feet. Pearl can sense the droplets sliding down the stems into the dark dirt beneath. Together, she and Scott walk under the canopy of oak tree leaves, bathed in the light of the full moon. It's a peaceful night, and yet something feels off. Like something, or more probably someone, is watching them. Scott doesn't appear outwardly concerned with his relaxed movements, but Pearl can see his fingers twitch towards his water skin periodically. Pearl places her hand on the hilt of her sword, prepared to draw it the instant an enemy makes themselves known. With the end of the game nearing and only a handful of greens and yellows left, they can't let their guards down for even a second. It may not have been the smartest of ideas for Pearl and Scott to leave the safety of the Shadow Fort, but neither of them enjoy being cooped up for too long. To the side of the path, the soft sound, nearly undetectable, of bushes rustling breaks through the crickets' chirping. Both Scott and Pearl freeze, her hand tightening around her sword and Scott's flipping open the cap of his waterskin. "Did you hear that?" Pearl murmurs under her breath, river blue eyes darting to the right side of the path where the noise had come from, and then back at Scott. Scott gives a slight nod before fully turning to face the bush the rustling had emanated from. "Hey," he greets calmly. "You can come out. We heard you." Pearl facepalms. Slowly, Joel rises from the bush, light red eyes glinting in the darkness. The dried blood sticks to his crown with the reminder of the lives he's taken and the lives he has yet to destroy. His black robes blend into the shadows perfectly, with only the red accents calling out in violence. An iron sword hanging from his hip catches the light of the moon dangerously, a constant reminder of the danger standing before them. "Hey guys," Joel says with a sinister smile. "Fancy seeing you here." "What do you want, Joel?" Pearl snarls, gripping her sword fiercely. Joel steps out of the bush and shrugs, that terrifying grin still plastered across his face. "Oh, you know, just catching up with some friends of mine." Water. Need some water. "Is there anything we can help you with?" Scott asks, a friendly smile on his face, though Pearl can see apprehension behind his eyes. Joel steps out of the shadows and into a beam of light from the bright moon. "I can think of something." Before Scott has a chance to react, Joel lunges at him, grabs him by the shoulders, pulls so his back is pressed against Joel's chest, and summons a dagger of flame to press against Scott's pale neck. Pearl barely has a chance to call out to her friend before the fire is slightly singeing Scott's neck. We'll do his skin. I like his skin better. Pearl pops the cap of her pouch at her hip. Pops open the cap of her pouch at her hip, and holds her hands out before her. "Let him go," she demands in a strong tone. Joel cackles madly. "No, I don't think I will." Pearl growls and glances at the open pouch at her hip. Her open water skin. Okay. Because we've already got the pouch at her hip up here. Pearl growls and glances at her open water skin, fully prepared to pull the water out to attack Joel with no mercy. The full moon will power her enough to win this battle without any problem. Water can put out fire easily. Suddenly, Joel tuts and shakes his head. Well, we don't need this suddenly. We don't need this suddenly. That doesn't really work here. If that water comes out of that water skin a single centimeter, Scott here won't have a head anymore. Pearl freezes, glancing at Scott's fearful ice blue eyes. Joel gestures to her pouch with his head. "Close it." Pearl growls and reaches down to push the cap back on, sealing the liquid inside. She can't let Scott die. He's supposed to be the last one alive. She'd promised to protect him the first day when she gave him one of her lives. The full moon calls to Pearl. She can feel it filling her with power, and she knows what she has to do. Maybe this will ruin everything between them, but if it'll keep him alive. Okay. I'm pretty happy with that. It's got a little bit more to go, and then some editing, but I don't think it's too bad. Okay, so now let's grab this tab and pull it over here, and we can pick some new ones to go on the poll. I'm keeping the Impulse and Gem reunion on there. But we've got this one done, so I won't move it just yet because it's not finished. But this one's done. Okay. So we know we want a Cleo one on there, but we've got the Bigby betrayal, and I feel like people are going to be more interested in that than an abduction. But I want to write an abduction. You don't understand. I don't want to write test stuff anymore. I want to write abduction stuff. I want to write like my universe stuff. You know what I mean? I don't want to write stuff in the test anymore at this point. Like obviously I probably will continue write. Like I want to write all of these at some point. Maybe not all of the abductions, but you know, I don't want to write stuff in, like, canon, quote unquote. Except maybe this one. I would write this one. But that's because it's super angsty. We've also got a lot of Pearl ones down here, so maybe we don't do a Pearl one. What do you guys think? What are you thinking? I feel like if we wrote this one on stream, we could combine it with this one, but we wouldn't put both of them on the poll. It would just be like, if this one wins, then this one will probably also get started. What are you guys thinking? Do you have a preference? I can read them out. Lizzie being sent to the Watcher's base, Pearl meeting IRL Tilly, Scott's reaction to losing Jimmy in Third Life, and then we've got the abductions, Grian seeing Mumbo in Last Life, Impulse and Gem reunion, What If, B-Dub's Earthbender, Hawk playing a fun British game in Limited Life while Katie heals the issues, Creation of the Listeners, Mumbo quad kill in Limited Life, Pearl deciding to answer Scott's letter, What If the soulmate connection existed outside of Double Life, Cleo Bigby betrayal in Last Life, Watcher's Notes, early testing, continuation of the creation of the eye, and Scar and Grian end of Limited Life, of Third Life, sorry. I'd kind of like to do more lore stuff, so I'd be down for either of these or the creation of the listeners. We could also, I'd be happy to put some more abductions on there. I also don't mind if you guys really want to read stuff from the tests. I can do that. We've just done... How many have we done from the tests? We've done a good amount from the tests. So do you guys have any preferences for what you'd like to read, or... You know, just let me know if you guys are feeling any. If you also have, like, you know, any after stuff. Me playing the British game would be fun. We can put that on there, yeah. Because that hasn't been on any... That hasn't been on any polls. Okay, so we've got two now. I'm kind of feeling one of these three. Creation of the listeners, watcher's notes, early testing, continuation of the creation of the eye. Kind of feeling those, really. So maybe we put creation of the listeners on there, because I feel like people were talking about how that would be interesting. And is there a fourth one that you're feeling, that you guys are feeling? We've got one more slot to fill. Honestly, I'd be fine with putting any on there, but I like the idea of doing some not in the tests. So like some of the what if stuff, or if you guys have any prompts for like the after. You know, like Jimmy and Tango doing stuff after, or any of the characters' lives after the final chapter. Just kind of like ideas for what they're up to. Because there's so much we could do with that, honestly. Especially because of how they all split up. So you could, you know, we could do stuff with like what Martin, Bigby, and Ren are up to, you know. Because one thing that could be fun is in Ren's letter, he mentioned that it was Docky's birthday coming up. That could be fun. Or Scott and Cleo going to the North Pole. Yeah. So there's a lot of thoughts for what could happen with them. Honestly, I'm kind of feeling this. So if you guys don't have a preference, I'll put this one on there. If you don't necessarily have a fourth one that you're super feeling at the moment, we can put this one on there, because I'd be interested in writing that. That's very angst filled, and you guys know how I love angst. You like all? Okay, well, I'll go ahead. If nobody else has a preference, I'm gonna go ahead and put that on there. So now we've got our 4 that'll go up on Friday, and you guys can pick that for Saturday. That'll be fun. But we are after 2 hours, and my legs are feeling it. So so we're gonna wrap up the stream here. This stream will be up on my YouTube tomorrow. But yeah, thank you guys for coming. It's always a fun time streaming. And yeah, I will see you guys on Saturday. And this one shot should be up tomorrow. But thank you guys for coming. It's been a lot of fun. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.